Are you also recording?
Yeah.
Okay, I might just do my intro first.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, tēnā tātou I te whānau. Welcome back to Finding Freedom, your Monday morning motivation show. I'm your host, Dawn Priestley from Whakamana Wahine, and I hope that you have been enjoying the sweet songs of freedom from Uncle Bob, and I hope that it's setting the tone for your week. If you've just joined me here now, this is my first time giving it a go myself, recording my own show, and I have a beautiful guest that I have invited to kōrero here today with me. We're going to have an open, candid conversation. She is Sister Aotearoa of Tautoko FM. Welcome, sister. How are you today?
Kia ora, no mai. Kia ora, kia ora. I am good. I am good. The sun is shining. The sun is shining. It's a good day today. Thank you, sister. Yeah.
Oh, I'm so happy to hear that. It's really not sunny over here. We've had some really bad weather here in Brisbane, Gold Coast area. So the reason I've asked Sister Aotearoa on here today is we have started to collaborate and kōrero with each other.
Yeah.
We have very similar views and very similar kaupapa in terms of what we want to share with the world, in terms of our mahi and in terms of the impact that we're really wanting to have on our people all around te ao. So sister, no here koe and ko wai koe, who are you and where do you come from and what is your mahi, if you can explain that for me, please?
All right, kia ora wha. Well, kia ora mai tātou. Ko Mel Davis tōku ingoa, but ko Soul Sister Aotearoa tētahi o oku ingoa as well. So Soul Sister it's actually my jar-given name. It was gifted from the heavens, and it took a lot of years to actually own that name and become someone who can represent that with honor. Do you know what I mean? Because it's quite a big name. Now it's becoming like I am one of, and it always has been, I am one of the Soul Sisters from Aotearoa. Do you know what I mean? So hence my name is changing on Facebook a bit because of this, what's been happening over the last 2 years, and in regards to sovereignty and going back under the sovereignty of our divine creator, give thanks, rather than being given by our westernized ways, if you'd like to put it that way. But no, here I'm from all corners of Aotearoa, so I'll give you my iwi, the different iwi that I have. Ki te taha o tōku mama, my mama's side, I'm Kaitahu, which is down the South Island, and I'm also Te Atiawa, which is Wanganui. But on my father's side, I am Ngāti Pro and Ngāti Rangitihi, which is East Coast and Matata. But since I've been living up here in the Taitokero area, which is the north, the far north area where you're from, sis, I've recently discovered that we whakapapa into Pangaru as well through the Howard whānau, through the Horde whānau. So I really am from the four corners of Aotearoa and from the heart. So I really love that about, and I've always kind of grown up being honouring all my sides on both mother and father's side. You know, usually we go with our father's side, and I give thanks to that, but I also I'm claiming it all, man. like you know, because that's how it is at the moment. I've been brought up in Auckland majority of my life, but I really never got on that well with Auckland. But if you know how to roll in Auckland, whānau, you know how to roll anywhere in the world, if you ask I. Like, it's similar to Brazil, right? Similar to over in Aussie and Gold Coast and stuff. But ko wai au, I am a woman of the Rastafari faith, a woman of God, a woman of the divine. I really honor my spiritual indigenous side and every element that is. My soul mahi is making a difference, whether that's through music or whether that's through speaking, you know, but as the main thing is that the message is everything. Te kupu te menui, you know, the word is everything that we have. And to me, it's something that we need to honor and be responsible for what we're delivering, you know. So I don't do a 9-to-5 job. I've always been a bit of an entrepreneur, probably like yourself, sis. I've had a lot of training and communication with coaching and things like that. But I've done festivals and music events, different events, all kinds of different things. So it's really been soul mahi, you know, and that's really, as in work, really my purpose, you know, gifted by the divine creator. What my purpose is here is to make a difference. And I'm just like every other sister of the nations, you know, that really has to balance between the mainstream living, but our Indigenous ways, which is what we automatically already know and are an example of. However, now it's about really decolonizing how we've been molded in our upbringing to bring that forth in a natural, beautiful way, so that it can awaken the light in others that are around us, but especially within ourselves. We can still be that kind of, that fire, that light of fire of hope for people. So yeah, that's kind of in a quick nutshell. I singer-songwriter of many different genres. I call it soul funk blues, soul funk roots, you know, because there's not, I mean, music is music. How can you box that? You know, Maori is Maori. How can you box that? You know, woman is woman. How can we box that? You know,
so we can't box ourselves as wahine, that's for sure.
Right. That's right. So really, you know, I'm another sister of this world, and a woman of the divine, and a mama of a beautiful king of the kings in making. So really, just doing another sister doing a thing, really.
Oh, ngā mihi, sis. I'm so, I feel really blessed to have connected with you and to be having this amazing kōrero with you here today and sharing our views and perspectives on our mahi and our mission and our soul purpose. And I love everything that you just said. And just to flow on with that soul purpose, that soul mission, mahi, what are your thoughts? Like, how does one go about connecting with their soul purpose and what they're here to be doing on this planet?
Yeah, I think just listen to the heart. You know, it's written that our divine creator placed the desires on our heart, you know, and we know, like I'm very spiritual, guys, so just bear with me. My whānau, some of them call it weird, some of them call it deep. I don't care, because it's, you know, just I'm really hungry for the fruits to come to life. So I'm sticking with this because it's something that means a lot to me. But, you know, I think that one thing that I know for myself, it was always on my heart. Music's always been on my heart. It's one of my biggest loves, you know, is music and delivering a message with a beat. That's always been something that I've loved. And not only that, making a difference has always been, it's just in my natural way of being with people. Sometimes it was a little bit too much, where I started, you know, I was years ago, I used to coach people even when they weren't interested in being coached, and I learned my lesson fast, you know, but it was because I could see the gap and I was so committed to people, and I'm like, go get yours, you know. So I don't really have an answer for that, mainly because I think it's, you know, we've all got our own way of living, or our own journey spiritually, especially spiritually. And I think for myself, my purpose came through a spiritual awakening. And so that's when I really realized, you know, if I can awaken our people, all our Indigenous people, to who they truly are, so that we as a collective, hence why I'm very honored to have connected with you also, so that we can lead the way forth, because us as Indigenous people have a higher calling, but some of us are a little bit more awake to that at the moment, and some of us are still sleeping, or some of us are still going through what we're going through. But to find our own purpose, I think really it is just listening to your own heart, because it's already there. And the thing I love about coaching, Asis, is that we've got these great coaches like ourselves that can coach you into turning it into a business. And I'm not talking, sorry, I don't really like the word or terminology business. I call it my dreamness. you know, because it's not about money. The money shall come if we're living a prosperous life. No, it hasn't yet arrived on my bank account. Right.
I feel you, sis. I feel you, sis.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on, Neo. I know it's coming. Come on, Ja.
Yeah, right. So it's really like the thing is, though, the thing that I got recently, which might make a difference for you, I don't know, but all in God's timing. Your timing is the best timing, and it hasn't been our time yet. You know, like for myself, there's a reason why things have been the way that they've been, especially in the last 2 years, because your timing is coming through where things shall prosper, the fruits shall come to life. You know, that is just that's everything I trust, even though the circumstances or the reality of this world or this right now reality of my personal circumstances, being in a wheelchair at the moment and everything, don't fit that. Doesn't mean it ain't coming yet. You know, it's the fruits are coming. We just got to keep, you know, plucking away the dead leaves. I mean, it's autumn now, whānau. It's a time to get rid of all that dead life that has no purpose anymore, to make way for springtime, baby. Like
for us to bloom and grow and blossom.
There's a season for everything, right? It's written. And so, yeah, I just really trust that. I've always gone with listening to going after my heart, where I feel happy, where I've lived. If, you know, I've always been called closer to an ocean or something like that. It's all inside of a divine purpose. And I trust that the fruits are already manifesting. And the fruits are different to what they used to be. It used to be money. I'm like, it's now mana, you know.
I fully resonate with that kōrero, especially around the purpose and the meaning of money. I think this is something that has really come up for me, you know, over the past 2 years, realizing, because I was in early childhood for 8 years when I first moved here to Australia, and you know, you get paid well. There's a lot more money to be had here in Australia, you know, hence why we all want to migrate over here. But being in that role, it was really taking a toll on my well-being, on my hauora, you know. It was draining, and I became to realize that it wasn't in alignment with my true purpose, my true mission. You know, I was going to mahi and thinking, there's got to be more to life than this. Working for someone else, you know, in a job that I'm not passionate about.
Oh yeah, I don't get that. Like,
no. And then stepping into this mahi that I'm in now, you know, the coaching, and like you, sister, you know, those fruits haven't quite manifested in the form of the financial side of things, but I am happier within my wairua. Because I am doing the good work. You know, I'm fulfilling what I believe is my purpose of being here, which is helping other people and serving other people. And I fully believe, and this is what keeps me going, is my strong belief that the fruits will come, because you know, we are fulfilling our purpose and our soul mission, and what is in alignment with you know, the greater purpose, the greater, the goodness, right?
I do have to revoke what I said, actually, because I recently did. I was speaking about my personal financial situation, but regarding the Dreamness, the company side of things, I have received funding, which I give thanks to, and I absolutely give a major shout out to Te Rauora. So I because it's so interesting. I've got all this money sitting in the account, but it's interesting. I don't relate to it like I have a lot of money. It's really interesting, but I suppose because my focus isn't on the money, it's on the results of making the difference and the fruits prospering through the people. But I do give absolute shout out to Te Rauora, because it's suicide awareness, suicide prevention, and resilience building funding that's come in. And I think that that's a really a major fruit that I need to acknowledge, because like I said before, all in your timing, all in God's timing, because I've been applying for funding for many years, and it's now time. And it's what a better time to actually launch our programs that make a difference, especially for wahine that are out there, you know, women that are out there that could do with it, especially after these last couple of years that have been of hardship for many of us.
So tell us a little bit about, I know we've spoken a little bit about it, but enlighten our listeners as to some of the ideas that you have as to the mahi that you're going to be creating from the funding that you've received.
Well, so we've already been doing some of that with yourself, like interviewing different people on the show, like how can we get the message out there for our whānau to actually get access to how to empower themselves, because a lot of people know that they'd love to feel empowered, but they don't know how. A lot of programs I've gone to, master classes on YouTube, don't even get me started with that, because you do not get any access. And that's what really bugs me. Oh, would you like to know how to da-da-da-da-da? I go to those, I've done so many thinking, oh, maybe this one, but they never give you the actual how to. And so my thing is, no, you need to know how to empower yourself. Now, I don't have my stuff all together. I'm like, I mean, you should have seen me yesterday. It was not that pretty. I tell you, Vanna, it was not that pretty. It was not pretty at all, actually. Let's put it like that. It was pretty low, you know, it was pretty activated and pretty low. But the thing is that one of the biggest things for me that is really great is calling on the Most High, the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, the conquering Lion of Judah, and having faith in the word. The truth of the word, that I shall prosper, you know, that the divine creator has a prosperous plan for I, not to be destroyed, but a plan of a hope and a future, you know. And I give thanks that also includes my boy, you know, my whānau, you know. So firstly, there's really identifying Jah will be done, you know, that ultimately at the end of the day, good prevails, like good overcomes all, right? It's just ultimately that's where my heart is, and that's at the forefront. And with these programs, what I'm really focusing on and what I've been training, I've been piloting the programs for a good couple of years prior to our lockdown 2020. And so I had different clients, from women that have come out of prison to, you know, BNZ bank analysis managers, and I don't even know what that is, but
what is that?
It's up there. I mean, I can get an idea of what it is, but point being, it, you know, from a whole range of different wahine that did women as well, you know, European women as well, that have completed my program. And the whole program was around how do you reclaim your mana? How do you reclaim that essence of knowing who you solidly already are, that you naturally already are, because you deep down, you do know who you are. And it's still there, even though you've got these circumstances that are maybe covering it, or, you know, you've gone through heartbreak, or you've gone through some financial difficulties, or you've been going through some rough times. It just kind of smothers it. It doesn't cover it, because you know it's still there. So how do you reclaim that mana and stand solidly in the mana that you're gifted by the divine? Because it's written, Genesis chapter 1, 26 or 27, we are made in the image of the divine. Therefore, that is I and I. We are the divine. So then how do we reclaim that mana in the circumstances that we're faced with, right? Not only that, then how do you, once you've awakened the Queen of Queens that you truly are, once you've unlocked her, and you've really gotten back to the core of the true essence of the Indigenous woman, the beautiful, natural, beautiful woman that you already are, then reinvent your life from her, not from your circumstances. Because a lot of the time where our life is based on our reactions. You know, we'll do something given by a reaction. Oh, I'm not going to fall in love again or whatever because I got heartbroken. No, let's take that out, because we are love. Let's love even greater next time. You know, because we've learned from that heartbreak, you know, because a lot of people are turning to that lust at the moment. A lot of people are turning to that, you know, those apps, those hookup apps and stuff like that. I forget the name of it, but
yeah.
But you know, because they've been hurt. So a lot of our life has been based on reactions versus based on creation. And so if we were to reestablish ourselves as a created image of the divine, that alters everything, because then we can realign ourselves to the goddess that we truly already are, not the woman we need to become, the goddess we already naturally are. And when you can unlock and awaken yourself to her again, something becomes available that wasn't available before. So that kind of, that gives you, so the program was called A Woman's Worth, but now that I'm bringing an Indigenous element to it, I'm calling it tuahine tautoko, which is tuahine being sister, tautoko being support, or afi, like nurturing, supportive. And as well, that's the name of my radio show, is tuahine tautoko. So yeah, so that kind of, does that give you a kind of context of the program? Yeah, cool. Thanks for the question. I haven't spoken about that for ages, so I was like, that was cool, because
I was getting goosebumps.
Oh, great! Yeah, that's the way to it right there. You know, but because how, you know, for myself, I've been on the journey. Like 2020 and 2021 were like, whoa, and I stripped myself right back. Like I used to have my beautiful long dreadlocks, which I so love and honor. They were with me for a very long time. The lashes, I did the lashes, the nails, the everything, you know, and I really stripped myself back, and I was like, what did our divine creator have in store before I started to tutu and change everything to fit something that wasn't even, that's not even me. You know, it was all about the flesh and trying to look good and trying to be of some kind of ego, fulfill some kind of ego that us as Indigenous women aren't naturally a part of. Like we're just natural beauty, but yet we think we've got to cover it all up and change everything to fit into some kind of box. But yeah.
And I think that's something that, you know, when I run my courses and programs, they always sort of start with examining, those programs and those beliefs that we've been installed with. You know, in the first 7 years of our development, you know, every belief that we have about ourselves and about others and about the world around us is formed through the relationships that we experience and witness as we're going through, you know, that early stage of our life. So it is really sort of the foundation when you're trying to find your purpose, trying to connect with that sovereign wahine, with that queen within, that we start to really examine our belief systems and how that causes the reactions that we have and the behaviors, and really start to strip them away and ask yourself, like, is this actually me? Like, do I actually believe this? Or is this something that has been programmed, you know, into me from the environment around me? Because, you know, as you would know, our belief systems is programmed down, and that subconscious mind really is what runs the show most of the time for us. So being able to raise that self-awareness and create that connection and that curiosity about ourselves, and really exploring why we do the things that we do, why we think the way we do, and taking like an observer mode, and not taking yourself out of the situation and looking at it from the outside in, to gain that higher understanding of yourself.
Absolutely, yeah. Or creating that higher understanding of oneself. I mean, for myself, it's pretty confronting at the moment, you know, as much as I'm speaking of this strongly. Like my circumstances at the moment, for those that don't know, is I'm in a wheelchair after being in a car crash, you know, about 4 months ago. So I'm learning to stand again, and I've been taking a few steps, like taking a few steps now. I've been able to put my full weight on my feet and balance. And so what's been really beautiful though is that in my journey, it's like this is me learning how to stand newly with the shift that's happened, like on all levels, like on a spiritual level where I'm at now, learning to stand newly, mentally, emotionally, and physically, learning to stand newly in many different ways, like we were speaking of earlier with boundaries and things like that, but we'll go into that. But like you were saying, going back to our beliefs and our purpose, it's like, because we face different challenges or trials at different times, sometimes we have to reassess it and tweak it to fit what we're dealing with in that moment. At the same time, I've been really battling in moments not experiencing being that Queen of Queens, not experiencing being beautiful, you know, and really my critical voice can be very, very harsh sometimes. So it's really going, you know what, that voice is no longer welcome here. And as much though it takes something to capture it, because it's such an automatic default, don't actually realize it's occurring until we're able to tune in. And so my biggest thing is we have to have empathy on ourselves and compassion with whatever we're dealing with right now, because it's not what we've dealt with before. It's nothing close to it. And we're not coming back with the same resilience because we don't have the same certainty we used to. Right?
Well, everything that has happened in the past 2 years, you know, it's completely, you know, it's changed. It's changed the way that we operate in the world. It's changed, well, I can only speak for myself, but it's changed the way that I even view everything around me. The way that I connect with people. I feel, on one hand, I feel a lot more empathy for others and for myself and for my mission, and you know, just witnessing all of the separation and division that has been happening, you know, even amongst whānau and close friends, you know, the separation that has occurred. Like, you can see that, you know, love is the answer, like, and love is what we need to be injecting more of into the world. So feeling a lot more compassionate and caring towards others, with the knowledge that everybody has their own, you know, belief systems and ways of looking at things based on their experiences that they've had. So, you know, feeling more compassionate and caring about others, but then also feeling more inclined to set those boundaries for myself as well, like really learning how precious our time and our energy is, and being really mindful about who and where, you know, we're investing that time and energy. What are your thoughts on that, sister?
I think that's really important about how we are investing our time into the right things, you know, because, you know, and I don't say that lightly, because I noticed how much time I've been investing it in the not so good empowering conversations about myself, you know, in moments of recent. And I say that with a lot of compassion in my heart, because I'm real hard on myself, man, real hard on myself. And it's something I'm learning not to do, you know, and look, our divine didn't create it to be hard. You know, the divine created it to be an experience of love and joy and creation of life and love, you know. So I don't know, like, I've been investing a lot of time in how to love again, especially how do I love myself, because I'm so for others. Which is, like, I know a lot of us are around, you know, but it's real bad, like how much I don't think I've ever really experienced real love, to be honest, you know, without being some kind of victim to it, or, you know, speaking like, whoa, it's me, same, you're the same.
Yeah, when it comes to like romantic love, I don't feel like I've authentically experienced that love connection. Of course, as a mama to my tamariki,
it's up there.
Yeah.
But I also, like, I'm speaking from a whānau perspective as well, you know, I honor my family and I love my family. I've got such a great family, and I don't know if I really experienced the love that the love that I give, you know, and I don't expect everyone to love me how I live. But that real unconditional, nurturing, uplifting love is what I'm talking about, that real supportive kind of, I don't know, but I can't say that I haven't, you know, just inside of honoring my family. But I'm also, like, I'm very clear that I don't love myself the way that I love everyone else. And I was even looking at it this morning. I was doing in my time of karakia, and last night with how yesterday was, I could feel this, like, this question being delivered, like, because there was something that happened yesterday and I was more focused on the other person, of restoring, even though I wasn't in the wrong or anything. I care about people. I just care, even if they're mean. It's like, I don't know. Anyway, but I really got what Io Matua Te Kore was putting on my heart was, what about you? What do you need to heal? Or, is this it was really interesting. And I just really got, okay, true. Here I am focusing on this lady that I don't really owe anything to. She is not in my life. She's not a friend. She's not a family. She was actually getting paid to do work here. And here I am caring about, investing my time into caring about restoring something there rather than restoring something here in my heart, because I was put in a situation I didn't like. I was disrespected in my home. So, and I stood for myself, and I really said, out, you need to leave. That is it. Like,
Yes.
I'm not tolerating that kind of treatment in my own home. And so that was a really big moment, because I really stood for myself and created those boundaries that we spoke of, right? Really established, like, out, you need to leave, get out of my house right now. It was very, but also I didn't take care of, and I'm learning. I suppose this morning was a learning curve to go, what do I need? Firstly, acknowledging myself, which I could do. But I'm like, how do you love yourself? Like, really, like, go and make yourself breakfast and have a cup of coffee and indulge in that moment. As much as I've got this little sign up here that says indulge, I need to learn how to do that and feed myself love, like give it to me like I would give it to another. And we don't operate like that. I don't know for yourself, but in this journey of being in this little wheelchair, little guy, it's like really like learning how to love me. And I've never thought about it. I've never, anyway.
Yeah, I think, and I believe, and what I've experienced in the mahi that I do, because there's a big focus on, like, I did a whole course around self-love, and how many wahine actually don't have any idea around how to love themselves, like how to even begin and what that really feels like. And so I think it is more common to not know how to love ourselves than the other way. And I think maybe it has to do with that programming, that the society that we have been brought up in, like it's a very male, patriarchal type society. And if you look through the history of wahine, we have been quite suppressed as wahine when it comes to society and the norms and the expectations of society that we are, raised in. And also I think there's an element of our natural nature as feminine, divine feminine, that we are very nurturing and we give a lot to those that we love and to other people. So I think there's an element of that as well, where it's in our nature to give and to love and to nurture other people. But certainly what I am seeing and feeling is that it is time now for us, the divine feminine, to be rising up, to be honoring ourselves, and to be sharing love for others, but also for ourselves as well. I think it's so important.
I mean, it's so part of my program, right? I mean, this is the interesting factor, is that part of my program, we create practices or structures that bring the goddess to life, that bring her to life in your everyday living. And so now it's been looking at, and there's, that also has included self-love practices, like pouring yourself a bubble bath, and creating that moment so that it's sacred. rather than just having a bath or a shower, you know. So even
the
though
intention, right? Intention.
yeah, and having it fulfill that intention, you know. So I really get that there's ways of like loving myself that I've newly got to create given the circumstances I'm in, with not, you know, not being physically fully active again and things like that. But yeah, it's all, I think it's really interesting because, you know, one, God only gives us what we can handle, and the other is that, you know, creation can bring forth something greater than, you know. So I'm really interested what's going to come from this call afterwards that inspire, you know, what this call inspires in my creative side to bring forth practices and structures of loving myself. Yeah. Because I know one thing, if I'm really dealing with something, I'll watch a movie because mentally I need to clock out. And because I'm a muso, that to me is more, it's not mahi, it's not more mahi or anything like that, but because it means so much to me, I put pressure on myself around it, you know. And sometimes I'm looking forward to falling in love with music again, and I've had moments of it. I've only been on the mic twice in the last 4 months, which is kind of big, but I've falling in love with the sound, you know. So, but with movies, it allows me to mentally rest, and that's really important, I think, as women, but making sure there's a balance too, you know, because I need that time to clock out.
And I think that I feel like that everything is like, life is about trying to find balance between you know, different aspects. And you're so right. Like, I believe that, you know, there needs to be time and space for that rest and that rejuvenation and that chance to clock out and give our minds a rest. And then there's also, you know, the balance of the active and the creation and making stuff happen, and finding that balance. Like, I think what I've found is, you know, striving for the balance, but the balance and what that looks like is constantly shifting and changing depending on your own circumstances. So I think that's where that self-awareness comes in, that ability to connect with yourself and understand where you are at any point in time, and assessing, you know, what you need at any given time, you know, even on a monthly basis, you know, the ebbs and flows of our energy cycles, you know, in relation to the maramataka, you know, but having that awareness of yourself and knowing how you react to the different cycles and phases of, you know, your own personal cycle.
Time, you know, like, but allowing ourselves to have compassion on ourselves for that, you know. I mean, far out, we're human. At the end of the day, we're flesh, you know, but we are of wairua as well. So if we stuff up in the flesh side and our humanity side, just restore it. Like, so many people get so caught up on being right these days. It's like, really? After these last 2 years?
Man, I am the first one to call my own self out when I
same. So I think that makes a great coach for someone who can clean up their own stuff, you know. But you got to be real with yourself. Stop pointing the finger at other people, you know, and really like check your own backyard before you go anywhere else. And that was the thing that came up for me about this incident yesterday. Was what was important to me was to restore how I reacted, even though she was being disrespectful to me and rude to me in my home. I still was like, for myself, needing to complete with her. I apologize for how I reacted, but I was very clear in how I sent the message to her that I still didn't appreciate what happened, and I'm needing to restore how I reacted with you. Because I know better, you know. I know how to not let my reaction have the say. I can have the reaction, but still speak from my heart, rather than let the reaction speak, because that's where it's like, come on, y'all, you know, this never gets good. Pull it back, rein it back in, and speak from the heart, or speak the truth. Don't speak the reaction, speak the truth, you know. Anyway. Yeah.
And I think that's something that we can all, every single one of us, really examine is the way that we react. It's a pretty good clue as to what is going on underneath us, what triggers us, and the way that we react. And how can we respond rather than react in situations that trigger us?
Yeah, it's funny because that's something that's on my heart to speak of this week, is reactions, because we're all human. We're going to get triggered, right? We've got triggers within us. So
humans are messy. They're just so messy.
And so it's like when you notice that trigger, one thing that I notice that really works is when I notice that trigger and your body has that experience of either something's getting shaken up, or you're getting defensive. You know that experience I'm doing, right? Everyone has the same similar experience. And so it's in that moment, what I noticed that really is very powerful is when you notice, oh, I'm having that reaction, but then saying to oneself, what is it that I need to say? What is it that's actually being triggered, that hurt, or I love you and you're not hearing me? Or like, what is it from the heart that's actually needing to be said? Because that's usually the only thing of why we're having the reaction, is because something has hit. And that's the thing to speak to, not speak the reaction. Does that communicate? Yeah, great.
I get what you mean.
Yeah, great. Because I think, for myself, it's important these days because of how we are currently as people dealing with our nation's circumstances, right? Whether you're with government or against government, whatever, whether you're for or against vax, whatever, right? Whatever the circumstances is, there's this one thing that I'm noticing is that people are on this kind of suspect straight away, because we're all unsure at the moment. Are you all right? Are you contagious? Are you like, are you okay with them not being jabbed? Like, it's just like all of it's like just like not, it's just really out of it. But if you can tune into that and go, okay, cool, it's not personal, and then find what is it that my heart needs to say to their heart, like go beyond the reactions that are in between us and speak to the heart of the person that you're speaking to, then something can shift. And it's really beautiful what I've been noticing when you can shift that barrier, especially for myself, because I'm not interested in being suspect of whether someone's okay or not okay. At the same time, we need discernment. But at the same time, I'm not interested in walking around like this. At the same time, we need to sometimes. So it's having that discernment of knowing when the waiter is telling us, yo, kia tupato, be careful here. Or when it's just our, what's going on in the world. But the other thing too is people are ready to be triggered. They're already activated by being in response to what's going on with our nation. And I think that's where we can play a part in making it easier for people to just come with love.
And at the end of the day, that is the answer. Love is the key. It is the answer, and it's what is going to get us all out of this space that we're in. I think if we practice that compassion and that care, but also the discernment and knowing what is right for you, and being able to let go of what isn't in alignment with you and what isn't okay, without holding on to anything, without holding on to the need to control or to label or anything, simply aligning with that which is right for you and letting go of that which is not, and being okay with that. And whether that means, in my own experiences, letting go of friends and family who, either don't support my views or we have different views, like with love, I'm just going to separate myself from you, no raro about it, no argument, just with love and respect, I am going to set this boundary and create that space to keep my own space and my own self.
Absolutely. I trust that right now. If that's happening with anyone out there, trust it, because I reckon the divine is doing a great work at the moment and filtering out a lot of shade, like really getting rid of the right people to allow the right people to come in. Like it's real, like for myself, it's been a real lonely journey lately. I've really noticed who's not there. And there's a lot of people who are not there that I thought, like, wow, I thought we were a bit more friends than, but and that's okay, because it's like I've got to trust it at the end of the day, even though in moments it can hurt.
I've experienced a lot of that myself too, and I know a couple of other wahine have been going through the same thing, realizing people that they thought were their people, were their vibe tribe, but then only to discover, actually, no, they're not there for me, and they don't have my best interests at heart as much as I had that for them. And it's not easy, it's sad, it's heartbreaking.
It is
but like you said, everything is for a reason, it's for a purpose, and anything that's not serving you and your journey and your higher purpose needs to be shared in order to make that space for everything that is. So
yeah. Makes a difference when we can just roll with it rather than resist it. Oh man, I got to listen to myself. I got to go back and listen to it. Give myself some of that. Oh yeah, gotta bring that in, girl? That'll be cool. But that's all inside of it, because I know for myself, we're great coaches, but when it comes to actually, all great women, right? But when it comes to actually loving ourselves and stuff, or coaching ourselves, it takes a little bit more, because it's you're dealing with you, and it's easier to have someone who's outside of you do that kind of coaching. But
maybe sometimes that's why it is easier for us to focus on other people and helping them and their problems, because when we're so busy doing that, then it doesn't leave as much space for focusing on ourselves and going deep within ourselves and facing stuff that that we need to
I don't agree. And I don't agree with you either. No, not with you, because no, you don't seem as that kind of person. I think we're both, exactly.
Let's delete that out of there. No.
But that's great, because I think maybe for some people out there, but I think for you and I know that I would get value for myself in coaching other people. You know what I mean? And I would speak about what I'm dealing with. And
I was just going to say, I'm open about myself. What was I talking about?
Something else. But I get where you're coming from. But I really think that, that maybe there's some people that find it hard to look at themselves. I think it's the best thing that they can do. And there's nothing wrong with it. Just check it out. And if you don't like it, the great thing is you can tweak it. And if you can't tweak it, you've got some great sisters here that can help you tweak it. And that's sisterhood, man. That's teamwork makes the dream work. If you can't see it, someone can. Yeah. All you need is a little bit of light, and darkness has to leave, man. There's no room to stay there. That's something I need to put on my forehead. No, just kidding. No, but just to remember that, and constantly keep that in the forefront, because at these times it's, it hasn't been easy. And I need to remind myself of how much loving light I am for myself, I am. Yeah.
Nice. How long have we been talking for?
So we've been going for about 40.
Have we?
Actually, no, 50 minutes.
Oh man, there's heaps of material for us.
Yeah. So look, I've really left this regarding for your guys' interview, for the interview over in Brizzy. So I just love to do a shout out to all our Mozzies over there, or our whānau that's over in Aussie. And look, if your heart's calling to come home, come home. Because home is where the heart is. But if the heart is calling for you to stay there, may it be fruitful for the right reasons. Yeah. But I love my whānau over in Aussie. I absolutely love my whānau over in Aussie. And I look forward to whatever our divine creator is doing, because it is our Indigenous people are the ones to lead the way. It's time, you know. People might think that New Zealand's like behind Aussie. I don't think so. I think it's actually ahead of Aussie in regards of reawakening the Indigenous side of things. And it's coming into that time of awakening to who we truly are. I usually say awaken to the true Rasta you already are. Remember the Rasta of who you are, yo. You know, because us Māori, we are all, you know, positive vibration, one love, Yanakitanga. We are all of what Rastafari, we are all Rasta, if you ask Guy, because it's just in our nature to be Mātika and Pono. And if you're not being that, then we're out of sync with ourselves. Usually, you know, that's, yeah. You can still come home and look pretty, you know. You know, but just, you know, like, I just love that our whānau are doing really great over there. And yeah, if it's calling, yeah. I'm looking forward to what's going to happen here.
I agree with your kōrero around, you know, the shift and the changes that are going to be happening in this world. It is with the Indigenous rising. And I agree with you about, you know, Aotearoa, about Māori as being at the forefront of that.
Yeah. We just got to remember who the Rasta we are. You know, because there's a lot of us that are, you know, unfortunately, it's like that defensive mechanism comes across staunch, you know, for whatever reason. But our people weren't fighters, they were warriors. They fought for a reason. They fought with honor. They weren't staunching out everyone, you know, inside of being defensive about their own heart or something like that. You know, we are warriors. We are those who fight for a cause, but it's now time to fight with honor in our walk and our talk and everything that we do, and lead the way, lead by example. And the greatest example is the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, the conquering Lion of Judah. He was love, all love. And that's something that, you know, that's why I'm inspired to be the best version of a Queen of Queens that I can be, is because it's in honor of him.
Pono tō kōrero, sister.
Yeah, kia ora. I don't say that lightly, you know, but yeah, but I look forward to being that, as much love as I can, you know. I look forward to being love again.
Well, even though you don't, may not always feel like that within yourself, when I look at you, when I connect with you, I just feel love and I see love. So I'm so happy that I've connected with you, sister. And I really look forward to the future mahi and connection that we will have with each other on our mission and our purpose to enlightening and empowering our wahine and yeah, bringing the love.
Right. Yeah, girl. Let's go. Like really, I'm really thankful that we have connected. And I don't think I mean, like I said to you, that Eo put you on my heart that day, and I contacted you straight away, and it's no accident. So there's obviously some movement of bringing our sisters together, that across the ditch, across the nations, you know, to awaken each other to our queenhood and the goddess that we truly are. So I look forward to the journey. Yeah. Me
too. Well, ngā mihi, thank you for being a guest on my show here today.
You're welcome. It's been an honour. It's been great. Loved all your kaiwhakaronga that are out there. Anei te mihi nui rawa tiki a koutou mai tēnei wā. Yeah, anei te mihi. Yeah, kia ora.
Oh, awesome. Ngā mihi, sister. And for all of our listeners here in Brisbane, can you let them know how can they connect with you or listen to you or engage with you?
Cool. So Soul Sister Aotearoa is the YouTube where all the video clips and stuff are. So it's Soul Sister, one word with an A at the end, for A-class attitude, right? Soul Sister Aotearoa, two separate words, but you can check it out there. And yes, I've changed my name on Facebook, and that's really, you know, looking at, whatever name that I'll be going under regarding my sovereignty under the Most High. So yeah, Sister of Aotearoa is the name right now, you know. So, like, you know, let our divine take over that one. I have no idea, but that's how you can, yeah, reach out or whatever.
And you also mentioned that you have your radio show on Tautoko FM.
Yeah.
Is within the Taitokiro area.
Yeah, so it's like this little iwi radio station in a place called Mangamuka. If you know the north, you know Mangamuka. If you don't know, you wouldn't know Mangamuka. It's one of those, I think it's, you know, but it's such a beautiful, beautiful spot. And it's apparently was one of the first iwi radio stations in Aotearoa. And it was the first in the Taitokiro area, which is the far north area. But yeah, 99.5, 97.5 FM. You over here in Aotearoa, that's it, taitokofm.com. It's every Friday morning from 10 to 12. And it's like whānau Fridays, you know, so it's really around music, Māori, and muriwhenua, which is, in other words, mental health, but I don't like to speak about that terminology, so I call it muriwhenua, you know, giving life essence, feeding life essence of the wellness of the mind, body, and heart and soul. Yeah.
Beautiful. And is that live streamed on like the internet so that we can listen over here?
You can tune into taitokofm.com to listen to the radio show, but at the moment, because of my circumstances with the wheelchair, I'm pre-recording at home, so it's not live, but it shall be, and it has, yeah. So, but no, thanks for that, sis. I appreciate that.
Awesome. All right, well, thank you so much for being a guest on my show today. Like I said, I look forward to our future mahi together. And for our listeners, keep tuned. I hope that you enjoy these next couple of songs, and I'll be back after the break.
Finding freedom, yo. Woo! Awesome.
I loved that.
Cool. That's cool, sis. Awesome. That's great.